this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it in this life, whatever makes me happy, know I'm doing things right. Sipping in the summer on a goose and Sprite, or find a nightclub for the end of the night, oh. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it, how you gonna move for it, what you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it, how you gonna move for it, what you gonna be?
And now, Mike's thoughts.
Man Hour Nation, let's get right into this, because this one right here absolutely pisses me off. Cam Scatterboom, a hard-nosed, lunch pail kind of player, a dude who runs through linebackers like they owe him lunch money from back in middle school, breaks his ankle on Sunday. Instead of empathy, instead of people saying, man, I hope he's okay, mans are out here celebrating. They're laughing, they're making memes, they're acting like someone getting hurt is good for their fantasy team and their online trash talk. Guys, let me tell you something. If you are one of those people, you are not a fan of football. You are a clown. You're the kind of person who has never strapped on the pads, who has never taken a hit, have never felt like what it's like to go through the grind for something that's taken away from you in a single snap. Cam Scatterboom is out there putting his body on the line for your entertainment, for your Sunday afternoons, for that jersey you rock on the team that you claim to love, and you're happy when he's hurt? That's disgusting. It's dumb, it's childish, and honestly, it's flat out weak. You don't have to like the player. You don't have to like the team. You can talk smack, root against the team. That's football. That's what makes this game great. But celebrating an injury? Nah. That's where you show who you really are. You're not passionate. You are flat out pathetic. We love this game because of what it stands for. Toughness, the heart, the respect. The players give everything they got each and every week. Their fathers, sons, and brothers, and you're cheering for their pain because you bet or a rivalry? Grow up! Cam Scatterboo didn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. So the next time you're tempted to send a tweet or post a meme celebrating someone's injury, stop and think. Be better. Do better. Because the end of the day, your favorite player goes down and that internet starts cheering. Maybe then you'll finally understand how gross that energy actually is. This isn't just football talk. It's humanity talk. Injuries aren't a joke. Those are people's dreams. Those are people's lives. Those are people's well-being out there on the field. Respect the game, respect the grind, but most importantly, respect the player. Because if you cannot do that, you do not belong in Man Hour Nation. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation! Rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go! What is up, Man Hour Nation, guys? Welcome to Man Hour NFL Talk, your go-to spot for live, raw, uncut NFL talk. I'm so glad you're rolling with us today. But guys, before you head into today's show, head over to manhourradio.com. That's where you find all your exclusive merchandise, the blogs, and everything's happening with the Man Hour show. So if you're rocking the Man Hour, guys, that is a spot to rep it. Guys, make sure you hit the like button, hit the share button, of course, subscribe as well so you never miss a live, interactive show. That's the easiest way to stay plugged in with us. But if you want the full Man Hour experience, if you want free entry into our weekly NFL pick'ems, if you want free merchandise, bonus live stream ponies, and only our pigskin ponies, guys, become a pigskin pony today. That is our members-only community. They do get the free entry into our weekly NFL pick'ems. They do get the giveaways. They do get exclusive merchandise, and of course, the bonus live stream pundits bonus live streams that only our pigskin pundits get. If you want the next level access, guys, join the squad today. And remember, this is a live interactive show, so drop your thoughts, your opinions, your hottest takes in the comments down below. I want to hear from you. But guys, spoiler alert, this is a little bit of pre-recorded today. I'm watching my Kansas City Chiefs dominate the Washington Commanders tonight. So yeah, just sit down, big time, relax. But just know that this is still live, raw, and uncut. I don't edit shit. That's why the stutter is still very, very dominant today. And I'm a little bit cranky, a little bit tired. So, you know, the stutter's going to be real deal. But guys, let's get into today's show. And let's start off there, right off at the top. And let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and how they needed help. That's right, they needed help and more help to beat the New York Football Giants on Sunday. Guys, yes, the Philadelphia Eagles won on Sunday, but let's keep it 100. They needed help to beat the worst team in the NFC East, the New York Football Giants, just to avoid going 1-3 in the last 4 games. Now, do not get me wrong. The Eagles are a good football team. In fact, they're the only team in the NFC East with a winning record as of right now. But if you look a little bit closer of how they've been winning, you are going to start to see the cracks. You're going to start to see the crumble of the foundation. If you want great foundation work, head over to Elite Concrete Foundation. Hook up to my man West. He'll get you a good foundation. But let's rewind the tape. The Eagles barely survived opening night versus the Dallas Cowboys. Needed every bit of luck and a few friendly whistles to escape that one. Then they took down a struggling Kansas City Chiefs team. Yes, the Chiefs were struggling week 2, but then again, with a little bit of referee assistance. Follow that up with the miracle win over the Rams, and then this week, it happens yet again. Refs bailed them out against the Giants. The same Giants team who have been the worst record of the entire NFC East. That's not dominance, that's desperation. The Eagles are walking a fine line between contender and pretender, and if we're being real, without the Zeros on their side, this team could very easily be sitting on the losing record right now. Now, let's talk about this Giants game specifically. Saquon Barkley finally got rolling. Not because the Philadelphia's defense, right? It's just the Giants' defense could not shut him down. He torched him with the early 65-yard touchdown run. The Eagles' offensive line opened up holes, sure, but the defense is statistically the worst in the league against designed runs. Let me repeat that. The Giants cannot stop the run. It's simple as that. So before the Eagles start bragging, pump the brakes. This was more than about who you were playing than about what you accomplished. Even with Barkley looking like his old self again, he ends up on sideline with growing issues. Philly lucked out because Saquon Barkley finished the game healthy, but there's a real chance we're talking about the Giants shocking the world yet again. Not if the Eagles barely survived another Sunday. Now the refs. Oh boy, the refs played a role in this one too. Missed holding calls, questionable pass interference calls late in the fourth quarter. Every time the momentum could swing the Giants' ways, here comes the flags and kept Philly alive. Let's not forget about the tush push, the fumble that wasn't. Thibodeau ripped the ball legit out of Jalen Hurts' hands, and the refs like, no, that didn't happen. Guys, that's not dominating. That is a team surviving each and every week. Let's look who the Eagles have actually beaten this year as well. A Cowboys team nearly stunned them on opening night. Matter of fact, should have beat them opening night if it wasn't for the refs. And then they play the Kansas City Chiefs team, a team that's been struggling going back into that week 2 and needed officiating help to get past this Kansas City Chiefs. Now, a Rams team was a bounce away from stealing it as well. Now, they did have a solid performance against the Buccaneers. You got to give credit where credit is due. And now, a ref-assisted win against the worst team in the division. Guys, tell me where the statement win is, because right now, I do not see one. Yes, Jalen Hurts threw for 4 touchdowns. Yes, Saquon Barkley and Take Bigsby combined for a strong running day. But if you actually watch a game, you saw sloppy execution, lucky breaks, and a team relying on external help to get things done, a.k.a. the refs. Guys, the Philadelphia Eagles are not an unstoppable machine like they were in 2024. That offensive line, banged up and inconsistent. Their defense, leaking yardage left and right. They are good. Do not get it twisted, but they're not great. And if you take away the referee's assistance, the questionable calls, and those miracle moments, the Eagles will be sitting right there the rest of the NFC East below 500 and a losing football team. You can't call yourself elite. Every game close down to the officiating. Elite teams impose their will. The Eagles are getting by on breaks, not dominance. Now, sure, Nick Sirianni's squad looked like we're hitting their stride on offense these past couple of weeks. I'll give them credit for that. The passing game is clicking. Saquon Barkley has shown flashes of what made him Offensive Player of the Year. But let's be honest. This team has major flaws. If the referees don't keep bailing them out, those cracks are going to split into wide open down the stretch. That's when you got to call West at Elite Concrete and get those shit fixed. But here's the question, Man Hour Nation. Here's the legit question of the day. Are the Eagles real contenders, or are they just ref-assisted survivors of the NFC East? Guys, drop your thoughts in the comments. This is a live interactive show, and I want to hear from you and hear what you think. However, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and remember, we're live Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. here on the East Coast time, right here at youtube.com/manhour. So let's get into the comments and discuss your thoughts. Now, as you guys know right now, I am in the chat right there talking shit along with you. We're not going to pop it up on screen because this is a pre-recorded show, and I forgot that we got to add the Colts in there, baby. So let me go ahead and jump right here. Boom. We got the Colts, baby. Man Hour Nation, let's talk about a team that just isn't good. Let's talk about a team that's just not out there whooping some baby yak bitches. Let's talk about the most legit team in the entire NFL, and that is the one and only Indianapolis Colts. Guys, we're talking about this team that has gone toe-to-toe with some of the best in the AFC and come out swinging every single time. They've handled business against top-tier competition, beating teams like the LA Chargers and the Denver Broncos. And when they face bad teams, they don't play down-to-day competition like the Packers do. They blow them out like they're supposed to. Just ask the Titans, who they've embarrassed twice so far this season. Ask the Raiders. Ask the Dolphins. Belt to ass, baby. The Colts don't just win, guys. They dominate. Now, the things that separate good teams from great ones in the NFL is consistency. And the Colts have it. They are the most consistent team in the NFL. You don't luck your way into multiple blowout wins and statement games. This team is physical, balanced, and confident. Even in their loss to the LA Rams, they battled. That wasn't a collapse. That was a heavyweight fight. And Indy proved that they can hang with anyone after that game. And when you look around the AFC right now, the Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Chargers, Broncos, everyone is trying to find the rhythms. But guess what? The Colts have theirs, and they know who they are. They run the ball down your throat. They play disciplined football and make you play for every mistake. That's what championship calibers teams do. But let's talk about this heartbeat of the machine. Mr. JT himself, Mr. MVP Jonathan Taylor. Another week, another 3-touchdown performance. You know, it's a special season when a guy can casually have 4 games with 3 touchdowns by midseason and nobody's talking about him. The rest of the NFL combined, only 8 such games. Taylor alone has half that total. He has scored 10 touchdowns in the last 4 games, something only 15 players in NFL history has ever done. He's got 5 more touchdowns than anyone else in the league, and he's responsible for nearly 4% of the NFL rushing touchdowns, the 4% of the NFL rushing yards by running backs so far this season. That's just not dominance, that's history. But it's just not the numbers. It's how he goes about it. When you watch him play, you see defenders panic, angles fall apart, tacklers whiff, guys just look helpless. On the 80-yard touchdown run against the Titans, you can see it in their body language. When he hit the hole, it was over. Safeties tried to calculate pursuit angles, but Taylor's already 3 steps ahead of him. Literally 3 steps ahead of him. Turn the burners on. And this offensive line deserves credit too. Quentin Nelson and company are moving bodies like there's high school varsity versus the JV scrimmage. Every run concept, zone, pin pull, counter, trap, all executed it perfectly, giving Taylor just enough daylight to turn it into a track meet, and that makes him very, very dangerous. But let's not forget who had they done it against. Beating the Broncos is no joke. Sean Payton's squad has a playoff caliber defense. They shut down teams week after week, but JT made them look lost. Then it comes to the Chargers. A loaded defense with James, Bosa, Khalil Mack, and Taylor just made them look silly. Breaking tackles, making guys missing in space, and turning what would be 5-yard runs into highlight reels. That's the difference between the Colts team and everybody else right now. They make good teams sweat and bad teams beg for the clock to run out. Guys, the truth is the Colts aren't sneaking up on anyone anymore. They are a real problem. They're balanced. They're physical. They got an MVP candidate in Jonathan Taylor. And then you put that all together, an elite running game, a confidence defense, and an offense that executes, you are a legitimate AFC contender. You can talk about the Chiefs all you want. You can talk about the Bills all you want. You can talk about the Texans. You can talk about the Patriots, whoever you want. The truth is, the Colts are right there in the mix. As a matter of fact, the Colts are the cream of the crop. And this version of Jonathan Taylor keeps rolling. Nobody's going to want to see Indy in December, let alone January, going into February. Guys, the Colts are the real deal. But here's my question for you, Man Hour Nation. Are the Colts the most complete team in the AFC right now? Drop your thoughts below. This is a live interactive show, so I want to hear from you. And as always, guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and remember we're live Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast time right here on said platform. So let's get into the comments and discuss your thoughts. But all right, Man Hour Nation, we got to talk about one of the most dominant defensive performances in 7 years. And one of the most frustrated superstars in the entire NFL right now, the one and only Myles freaking Garrett. Guys, this man had 5 sacks in one game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sacks. That is a career day for 99% of the NFL players, and Garrett made it look routine. But instead of celebrating, he was furious, throwing his helmet, sitting alone on the bench, no smiles, no pride, just frustration. And you know what? I don't blame him one bit. Let's start with the numbers, because they are absurd. 5 sacks, multiple pressures, disrupting nearly every Patriots drive. Garrett was teleporting past linemen, literally teleporting. Even when the Patriots gave him chips to help from tight ends, he still got home. He wasn't just overpowering rookie tackles, he was dismantling game plans. Drake May had no time to breathe, and when he held the ball on for even a split second too long, Garrett was there. It was the kind of performance that reminds you that why he's a future Hall of Famer. But here's the problem. It didn't matter. The Browns still got blown out. Garrett gave everything he had, and the rest of the team gave them nothing. Let's be honest here. This game felt like deja vu for Myles Garrett. He's been in Cleveland for years now, and how many times has this story been written? He dominates, the defense holds early, and the offense completely falls apart. Juck is going down with a shoulder injury, the offense can't sustain drives, and suddenly all those sacks mean absolutely nothing. You can't rush the passer if your team can't score. Drake May picked them apart when Garrett wasn't on the field. 15 for 18, 235 yards, and 3 touchdowns when there was no pressure. That's just not bad luck. That's a team failing its superstar. So when Myles Garrett slammed his helmet down and sat by himself on the sideline, that wasn't immaturity. That was a man realized he can't do it all. And that organization he's stuck with might not be built to win. And that brings me to the elephant in the room, the money. Guys, let's not forget, just a few months ago, Myles Garrett wanted out of Cleveland. He wanted a fresh start. He wanted to play for a contender, a real shot at a Super Bowl ring. Instead, the Browns opened up the checkbook. They threw millions upon millions of dollars his way, and he stayed. They sold him a vision. We're one of the best young teams in football. The future is bright. We're building around you. But fast forward to now, what has changed? Absolutely nothing, except the size of his bank account. This team still cannot put points on the board, still can't stay healthy, still can't capitalize when the best player gives them a record-breaking performance. They got to eat that's got to eat you as a competitor. But Myles Garrett isn't chasing paychecks anymore. He's chasing legacy. And right now, Cleveland is wasting it. You can see it on his face. The look on the sideline, sitting alone, staring into space, that's not anger, that's disappointment. That's a player who just emptied the whole tank and watched it mean absolutely nothing. After the game, he said all the right things. I throw the whole performance away for a win, he said. And then you can tell me what it meant. Because 5 sacks don't mean anything when your team loses by double digits. That's got to be tough. Knowing that you could be the best player on the field, maybe the entire league that week, and still be helpless to change the outcome. Guys, the truth is, the Browns are wasting Myles Garrett's prime. They had years to build around him. They tried different quarterbacks, different coordinators, different philosophies, but the results are always the same. Myles does his job. The rest of the team doesn't. If it keeps up, don't be surprised this offseason if the trade request pops back up next season, because at some point, even loyalty has his limits. So here's the question for you, Man Our Nation. Did Myles Garrett make a mistake by staying in Cleveland, or should we be blaming the Browns for failing one of the most dominant defenders of our generation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is a live interactive show. I want to hear from you and your takes. But as always, guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Remember, we're live Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. Now let's get into your comments and let's discuss your thoughts. All righty, Man Our Nation. Let's talk about the game that looks on paper like the biggest statement win of all time. The Houston Texans just knocked off the San Francisco 49ers, the first place team in the NFC West, and a squad that's been one of the most consistent powerhouses in football. You look at the headline and say, damn, baby, maybe the Titans have finally turned the corner. But let's slow it down, baby. Because the truth is, I told you all last week and the week before that the 49ers are a ticking time bomb. And this week, it finally went off. So yeah, this looks good on the box score, but reality, it's a lot more about the San Francisco 49ers falling apart than it does the Houston Texans turning things around. Guys, let's start with the obvious. On paper, it was a clean win. Houston dominated. They controlled the tempo, they dictated the pace, and honestly, they embarrassed Kyle Shanahan's offense. The 49ers didn't even get a first half until the final drive of the first half. They went 6 for 9 drives without moving the chains. That's wild. Christian McCaffrey, the MVP of their offense, finished with just 25 yards rushing. 25. The same guy who gashed the defense every single week couldn't get one thing going. But then you look closer and you realize the 49ers are just broken right now. They're losing bodies left and right. Their defense is decimated. Their offense looks like a puzzle missing half of its pieces. And before we crown the Texans as contenders, let's call it what it is. A good win versus a broken team. Now, don't get me wrong. The Texans had a strong showing. C.J. Stroud finally looked like the guy he showed flashes of last season and the year before that. He went 30 for 39, 318 yards, 2 touchdowns, and even threw a 30-yard and even threw in 30 rushing yards. He commanded the offense. That's the version of C.J. Stroud this team desperately needs to work every week. And what really stood out? The youth movement. Every one of Houston's young playmakers made a splash. Woody Marks, 50-yard catch on the run. Broke loose on a check down that turned into a highlight reel. Xavier Hutchinson, 5 grabs, 69 yards, and a 30-yard touchdown where he left 2 49ers safeties in the dust. Jalen Higgins, touchdown in the red zone. Jalen Knoll, 63 yards and a deep bomb that showed serious speed. Those are the type of performances that you want to see from your young core. That's what gives you hope for the future. But let's not confuse hope with progress. Because here's the truth. The Texans are still a bad football team. They're still sitting outside the playoff picture. They're still trying to keep pace with the Colts, but they're definitely going to fall short. Yes, this win looks flashy, but the cracks are still there. Coaching is bad. DeMeco Ryans and his staff haven't figured out how to build consistency. One week they're electric. The next week they're lost. That's not playoff football. That's mediocrity. And when you look at the bigger picture, the Texans' issues go beyond game day. The offensive line is still a mess. The run game lacks identity. And once Joe Mixon, Nico Collin, and Kurt are all gone, that offense is going to look a lot thinner really, really fast. So, yeah, enjoy your highlight reel. Enjoy the headlines. But don't pretend this team is ready to hang up the big boys. Because when the lights get bright in December, the truth always comes out. And Houston's coaching, play calling, and inconsistency will continue to hold them back. But let's circle back to the San Francisco 49ers. This loss had less to do with Houston being great and more with the 49ers unraveling. Their defense is torn apart by injuries. Their offensive line couldn't hold up. And once CMC was bottled up, the rest of the offense looked clueless. This is what I've been saying for weeks. The 49ers are built top heavy. Once those stars start going down, it all collapses. So while this might look like an upset win for the Texans, it's really just the latest example of the Niners limping through another stretch of the season where the wheels are starting to come off. Guys, the facts are Houston isn't back. They're not suddenly a contender. They're not suddenly a top team in the AFC. They're still flawed, poorly coached group that's got a nice win versus a falling giant. Celebrate this week, but when it's all said and done, this win won't mean much of anything that they can build on because the NFL, one good week doesn't erase a bad season. So here's the question, Man Hour Nation. Did the Texans prove something with this win, or the 49ers just showing cracks in the armor? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Guys, it's a live interactive show. I want to hear you and your thoughts. But as always, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, of course, share this with a couple of friends because we are live Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. Guys, let's get into a little thing we like to call buy or sell. All right, guys, so it is time for buy or sell, and here's how it works. I'm going to throw out a bold take or a question, and it's up to us to decide whether we're buying it or we're selling it. If you buy it, it means you're in. You like the idea, you believe it, and it makes sense. If you're selling it, it means you're out. You don't like it, you're not convinced, and you're shutting it down. So let's get into it, guys, with a little bit of buy or a little bit of sell. Alrighty, Man Hour Nation, it is that time again for buy or sell, where we separate the hype from the tooth. And tonight's question is one that keeps coming up each and every week. Guys, buy or sell? Are the Denver Broncos legit contenders in the AFC? Each and every Sunday, it's the same thing. The Denver Broncos win, the national media starts buzzing, and we all ask, are the Broncos really for real? And week after week, I've told you guys the same thing. They're good, but they're not quite there yet. But after we saw this weekend, I'm done hedging. I'm done waffling around the answer, guys. I am buying it. The Denver Broncos are for real. Guys, let's start with the obvious. They just beat the Dallas Cowboys. Not by accident, they dominated them. Physically, mentally, and on the scoreboard. And let's be fair. Yes, the Cowboys secondary was banged up. Injuries everywhere. But that's football. Every team deals with it. And for a team like Dallas that lacked depth in the back end, and the Broncos exposed them for exactly how good the teams are supposed to do. Now, Denver didn't just win. They controlled the game from start to finish. 6 touchdowns on 8 meaningful drives. That's offensive rhythm. That's game planning. That's growth. Bo Nix, in his second year, looked poised. After a rough pick on the opening drive, he settled in and absolutely diced up the defense apart. And when you got R.J. Harvey stepping up with 3 touchdowns, that's a team clicking at every level. And man, let's talk about the big boys. That offensive line. Quinn Ramirez, am I saying that right? Had himself a grown man game. That 40-yard R.J. Harvey touchdown run, all effort, power, and dominance in the trenches. The guards, the offensive line, just didn't block. They bullied. First, Martina, which was Quinn, destroyed linebacker Shamir James. Then he climbed to the next level, finds safety Clark, and straight up buries him as well. That's a guard owning the field. Plays like that set a tone for the entire team, and the difference between pretenders and contenders, physicality and offensive line play. The Broncos team isn't just finesse anymore. They're winning in the trenches, and when you can run the football like that, control the time of possession, and protect your young quarterback, that's when you know a team's identity is forming. Now, let's zoom out and talk about the winning streak, because the Broncos have won 5 straight. In the NFL, that's no joke. I don't care who you're playing. Stringing together 5 W's takes execution, toughness, and great motivation. But look at who they've beaten in that run. They've beaten the Dallas Cowboys, a pretty good team. They've beaten the Giants, no slouch. The Jets, Eagles, and Bengals. Now, that's not a bunch of pushovers, and then add in their week 1 win versus the Titans. You start to see the full picture. There are only 2 losses, back-to-back road games versus the Colts and the Chargers. Both games they could have and should have won. They're right there. This isn't the last year's Denver Broncos team that folded late. This is a team that fights, finishes, and finds ways to win. Look, I said it, and I got to own it. I said last year when the Broncos made the playoffs, this is actually going to hurt them in the long run, meaning this year, in that it could have given them false confidence. But boy, was I wrong. That playoff push built something, built that fire, built that foundation. It gave this team experience. It gave Bo Nix belief, and it gave Sean Payton the foundation his team needs to be a contender. Now, this group knows how to handle adversity. They've got swagger, they got chemistry, but most importantly, they got confidence. Sean Payton has quietly turned this roster around. The defense is disciplined, the offense is balanced, and the energy in Denver feels different. You can see it on the sidelines. You can see it in the huddle. You can see it in the stands. This team, this fan base believes. And that's why I'm buying it. The Denver Broncos guys are legit contenders in the AFC. 5 straight wins are just not luck. They are earned. They have beaten playoff teams. They've won in ugly games. They've won shootouts. They've overcome adversity. That's what contenders do. Now, are they on the same tier as the Chiefs and the Bills? Not quite yet. But they're knocking on that door. And if this momentum keeps rolling, no one's going to want to face this Denver Broncos team come January. So here's the question for you, Man Hour Nation. Buy or sell? Are you buying the Broncos as real AFC contenders, or do you still think there's fool's gold riding a hot streak? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. This is a live interactive show. I want to hear from you and your takes. But as always, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button, and remember, we're live Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. So let's get into the thoughts and discuss your opinions. But next up on the old buy or sell, guys. Buy or sell is where we separate what's real from the noise. And tonight's question is simple. Buy or sell? Are the Buffalo Bills back on track? Guys, at the start of the season, everything was clicking in Buffalo. Josh Allen looked unstoppable. The defense was flying around, and there was whispers, maybe, just maybe, this team could actually go 17-0. And honestly, looking at their schedule back then, I couldn't even see where losses were coming from. But then came the month of October, and man, did things go down south fast. It started with the ugly, grinded-out loss to the Patriots, a team everyone thought that was rebuilding. And then came the national embarrassment on Monday Night Football against the Atlanta Falcons. It just wasn't a loss. It was a flat-out beatdown. Social media went crazy. Talking heads everywhere saying the Bills are done. The dynasty window is closed. The Patriots are back. Give me a break. You think the Buffalo Bills suddenly forgot how to play football. But what really happened was simple. They got punched in the mouth. Not once, but twice. And guess what? Every good team needs that. Every powerhouse needs that gut check moment. And so then came the bye week, a chance to reset, regroup, and remember who the hell they are. Fast forward to this week, last Sunday actually. The Carolina Panthers were one of the hottest teams in football, rolling into the matchup with momentum, swagger, and national hype. The Buffalo Bills, they were supposedly done. Josh Allen had never lost 3 straight games, and he wasn't about to start that now. The Buffalo Bills came out and absolutely destroyed the Carolina Panthers, belt to ass from start to finish. This just wasn't a bounce-back win. This was a statement. This was a reminder. James Cook was an absolute monster. 216 yards, 2 touchdowns, and made Carolina's defense look like a college unit. It was video game stuff. Jukes, power, speed. He did whatever he want, when he want, how he wanted it. But the real story, the defense. After weeks of question marks and inconsistency, the Bills' defense roared back to life. They sacked Andy Dalton 7 times, forced 3 turnovers. Jordan Hancock, in his first defensive snaps ever, made a touchdown-saving tackle, and new face like Hinnock and Maxwell made instant impacts. That's what elite teams do. They don't fold after adversity. They adjust, they reload, and release hell when they're doubted. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it 100. While the Buffalo Bills were, quote, figuring things out, the rest of the AFC was exactly lighting the world on fire. The Chiefs look human. The Bengals can't win a football game. The Ravens are trash. And the Texans? Like, come on. Meanwhile, Buffalo was just put on a clinic against a playoff caliber Panthers team. They showed what separates contenders from pretenders. And when it's time to make a statement, they just didn't show up. They dominated. Guys, here's what makes the Buffalo Bills different. When they hit adversity, they don't panic. They evolve. Sean McDermott's defense was down starters across the board. Taylor Rapp on IR. Ed Oliver hurt mid-game. Brand new guys stepping in. And still they deliver their best defense performance of the season. That's culture. That's coaching. That's leadership. Josh Allen didn't need to throw over 400 yards this time. He let his defense and running game cook. That's maturity. That's growth. That's the kind of team that wins in January and in February. And now, this team's got swagger again. They got that chip back on their shoulder. And the rest of the league better pray it doesn't stay there. Guys, the fact are, the Buffalo Bills never went anywhere. They just hit a speed bump. They took a breath and they got their minds right. Now they're back at what they do the best. Beating you up physically, out-scheming you mentally, and daring you to keep up. They're still one of the most complete teams in football. And those back-to-back losses, they may have meant the best thing to happen to them. Because now this team is locked in and ready to go on the wash and ready to go on one of those patented Buffalo Bills runs, 12, maybe 13 wins in a row to end the season. So let me ask you this, guys. When I ask the question, buy or sell, are the Buffalo Bills back on track? I'm absolutely buying it. I'm buying it all day long. Matter of fact, the Buffalo Bills were never gone. The Buffalo Bills are back, and the AFC better start taking notes, because the Buffalo Bills may not lose for the rest of the season. So what do you think, Man Hour Nation? Are the Bills officially back, or are they just teasing us teasing us a little bit for another collapse? Drop your thoughts in the comments. It's a live interactive show. I want to hear from you. As always, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Remember, we're live Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time, right here at youtube.com. But all right, Man Hour Nation, let's get into the final buy or sell of the night, where we cut through the hype and keep it 100. And tonight's question, guys, is very, very simple. Buy or sell? Are the Green Bay Packers Super Bowl bound? Ooh, buddy, let's flash back to week 1 and week 2. Green Bay Packers in the moon, baby. Now look, the Packers pulled off a big win on Sunday Night Football. They went into prime time and took down the mighty Aaron Rodgers led Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'll be honest, I had the Steelers as one of the best teams in the AFC. So this win looks great on paper. But if you think this means the Packers are Super Bowl material, you have lost your damn mind. I am 100% selling this idea so fast it's catching fire on the way out the door. Let me talk about who the Packers really are. They're that team that can amaze you one week and then turn around and play like dog poo-poo and they forgot how to football works the next. They play up to great teams like the Lions. Remember week 1 when they shocked everyone? And then they turn around, they sleepwalk through games against the bottom feeders like the Browns and barely beat the Cardinals. That's the Green Bay Packers roller coaster. One week they look like contenders. The next week they look like they belong on Thursday Night Football slot versus the Commanders. You cannot be a Super Bowl team when your biggest strength is your unpredictability. Consistency wins championships. And right now, the only thing consistent about the Packers is their inconsistency. Now, let's give credit where credit is due. Tucker Kraft is a stud. This guy has officially rided as one of the best tight ends in football. Against the Steelers, he looked like a combination of George Kittle and Derrick Henry. Stiff-arming dudes, running through tackles, and making linebackers look like dummies. 7 catches, 143 yards, and 2 tutties, averaging 20 yards a grab. That's wild for a tight end, especially on National Tight Ends Day. But here's the thing. When your tight end is your most explosive player, that's not a good sign. Jordan Love's favorite target isn't Christian Watson. It's not Romeo Doubs. It's Tucker Kraft. This tells me 2 things. Love doesn't trust his receivers, and the offense is a one-man show. And while Kraft's breakout is great, that's not Super Bowl stuff. That's, hey, at least we found a bright spots kind of stuff. Now, yes, the Packers did beat Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But let's be real here. It wasn't exactly the 85 Bears that they were facing. The Steelers defense was missing half of his starters by the second half. Their pass rush looked tired. Their secondary looked flat out lost. And Jordan Love was completing passes like it was a practice drill. He hit 20 straight completions. Impressive, yes. But against a defense that looked like that, didn't even want to be out there by the third quarter, whatever. This wasn't a statement win. This was a reminder that the Green Bay Packers show up when the lights are bright and then phase when it actually matters. And when you look at their upcoming schedule, because this Packers schedule should be gifted from the football gods, they got the Panthers, not a very good team. They got the Bears twice. It's the Bears. They got the Vikings, not very good team, twice. They got the Giants, and then they got the Ravens. That's 7 games. 7 games that they all should dominate. If the Packers were legit, they'd win all 7. Blowouts, dominant, confident. But with the Green Bay, you never know when they'll play down to someone. They will probably struggle against the Bears. They'll probably split with the Vikings, and they'll find a way to let Bryce Young or Jackson Dart look like MVP candidates for the week. If it happens, you can kiss playoffs goodbye because 8-1 doesn't get you anywhere in the playoffs this season. Man Hour Nation, the facts are the Packers aren't Super Bowl down. They're not even close. Talented? Yes. They got young stars? Yes. But they're also immature, inconsistent, and unreliable. They can't hang with contenders like the Lions and Steelers one week, and they get punked by a bottom feeder and the Chicago Browns the next. You can't win a Lombardi doing that. They got a team that talks about being great, but hasn't figured out how to be great every week. So while Packers fans are screaming, "We're back" after Sunday Night Football, the rest of us know the truth. They're not back. They're just teasing their fans again. So what do you think, Man Hour Nation? Buy or sell? Are the Packers Super Bowl contenders? Are they for real? Or are they just another NFC pretender that will flame out before January? Drop your thoughts below. It's a live interactive show. I want to hear from you. It's time for Factor Crap. All right, guys, so the show is not over quite yet, but it's time to wrap things up with our favorite closer, a little thing we like to call factor crap. And here's how it works. I'm going to throw out some so-called facts making around the NFL world, and together we're going to figure it out. Are they the real deal, or are they nothing but hot garbage? We're cutting through the noise, breaking down the hype, and deciding what's worth buying into. If it's fact, we're calling it out. If it's crap, we're going to bury it. So guys, buckle up with your snacks, lock in, because it's time to get real. Is it fact or just a whole lot of crap? Let's find out, baby. Alrighty, man hour. It is time for one of my favorite segments of the day. It's Fact or Crap, where we separate the real from just the overreaction. And tonight's question is simple. Fact or crap? Do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have red zone issues? After watching what went down in New Orleans, I don't even need a replay to answer this one, guys. It is a fact. The Bucs have major red zone issues. Let me set the table for you. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers win at the Superdome facing a 1-7 Saints team. A squad that benched his starting quarterback mid-game and looked like they were already thinking about draft positioning. And what do the Bucs do? They get the ball inside the 1-yard line. Not once, not twice, and still manage not to make it look like rocket science when they're trying to score. The Saints stopped them on 7 straight plays inside the 1-yard line. 7! I don't care how you spin it. That's flat out embarrassing. You could line up a high school team on a good day and they find a way to punch it in from the 1 at least after 7 tries. Now let's give credit to the New Orleans Saints for a second. Their defense finally showed some life. Granderson, Davis, the entire front made a goal line history right there. But let's just be real. That shouldn't happen to a team with Baker Mayfield, White, and an offensive line full of veterans. On the first drive, the Buccaneers got all the way down the 1 on 1st and goal on 1. Sean Tucker got stuffed, then again, and then again. That's 4 straight plays of getting bullied on the line of scrimmage by a team that's been one of the worst defenses in football all season long. And if you thought this team learned its lesson, nope. Third quarter rolls around. Same story. 1st and goal from the 1. Baker throws the incomplete pass. Tucker gets stopped. Baker throws the incomplete pass again. Finally, on 4th down, they barely break the plane for a touchdown. Barely. Guys, here's the truth. This isn't a one-game problem. It's a physiological problem. Todd Bowles' offense inside the red zone looks scared. Predictable. It's run, panic, throw, pray. There's no creativity. There's no misdirection. There's no confidence. You got Baker freaking Mayfield, a fiery playmaking quarterback, and you're treating him like he's running a 1998 playbook. And Sean Tucker, look, the kid's got potential, but let's stop pretending he's Derrick Henry. He's not trucking people over on the 1-yard line against 8-man boxes. At some point, you have to trust your quarterback and get your tight ends involved, use motion to confuse defenses, but what did Tampa do? They lined up and run it straight into a brick wall over and over and over again. 7 straight times. That's not toughness. That's flat out stubbornness. Now, this doesn't mean the Bucs are a bad team. In fact, they're still competitive. In fact, they're still one of the best teams in the NFC. Baker Mayfield has quietly been one of the most consistent quarterbacks this season. But the red zone struggles, there's a difference between good and being great. Because in the playoffs, when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get there, field goals are not going to cut it. You got to punch it in for 6. You think the Eagles or the 49ers are setting 4th and goal failures? No shot. You think the Lions or Cowboys are getting stuffed 7 straight times from the 1? Not happening. If the Bucs want to be taken seriously, this has to change, and it has to change now. The Buccaneers absolutely, guys, have red zone issues. It's not a coincidence. It's just not bad luck. It's just not one game. It's play calling, it's execution, and it's also mentality. You can't line up 7 straight times from the goal line and fail that many times unless something fundamentally is broken. Until the Buccaneers figure out how to finish drives, they're going to keep leaving points on the board, and that's how you lose games that you should dominate. So yes, this is an easy one. Fact. The Buccaneers have red zone issues. But what do you think, Man Hour Nation? Is it play calling? Is it execution? Or the Bucs just not built to be a smash mouth football team? Drop your thoughts, your comments. Is a live interactive show. I want to hear from you. And remember, we're live Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. But it is time for the final Fact or Crap of the day, where we cut through the hype and separate the NFL reality from fan fiction. And tonight's final question, guys, is Fact or Crap. Can the Baltimore Ravens make a playoff push? Sorry. Serious. Now, this team, the Baltimore Ravens, has been all over the place, guys. They've had moments where they look like contenders, and the others where they looked like they couldn't move a ball against a high school defense. But after Sunday's performance against the Bears, I'm calling it fact. The Ravens can absolutely make a playoff push. And let me explain why. Let's start with the obvious. This defense is starting to finally look like a competitive defense. After the brutal 17-3 loss to the Rams, where they got bullied up and down the field, Baltimore came out after the bye week and looked revitalized. Now, were they helped with a little bit about Bears' late game butters and clock management disasters? Absolutely. But good teams capitalize on mistakes, and that's exactly what the Baltimore Ravens did. The defense was fast, aggressive, and disciplined again. They forced the Bears into bad decisions and turned what should have been scoring drives into wasted possessions. That's Ravens football. Bend a little, don't break, and punish every mistake. But let's talk about the offense. Because if you watch Sunday's game, you finally saw a glimmer of what we've been waiting for all year. Keaton Mitchell. This kid is electric. We're talking about a dude who once averaged over 8 yards per carry before tearing his ACL back in 2023. He missed basically all of 24 and got buried on the depth chart behind Derrick Henry and was almost forgotten. But Sunday, he reminded everyone who he was. 4 carries, 43 yards. Explosiveness that pops off the screen. On one play, he hit 20.3 miles an hour. That's elite speed. That's Tyreek Hill territory. He's not a bruiser like Derrick Henry, but he's exactly what this offense has been missing. A lightning bolt. A guy who can change a drive with one touch. Now, nobody's saying he's out there to take Derrick Henry's job, but Mitchell brings a balance, a change of pace, because let's just be honest. Henry is strong, still productive, but 21 carries for 71 yards isn't scaring anybody anymore. If the Baltimore wants to make a real playoff push, they'll need that 1-2 punch. Henry has a hammer, Mitchell has a spark. But the real issue in Baltimore right now isn't talent. It's health. Lamar Jackson hamstring injury has been the elephant in the room. So yeah, Snoop Huntley has filled in nice and got the win, but let's not kid ourselves. The Ravens offense isn't built for a backup quarterback football. The good news, they don't need Lamar Jackson to be Superman right now. They need him to be healthy by December, because if he's back and this running game is firing with Henry and Mitchell, that's a dangerous team in cold weather months. You've got a ground and pound attack versus a veteran defense and an MVP caliber quarterback making a fresh comeback. That's a recipe for chaos in January. Now, the Ravens are not out of the woods yet. They still got a lot of work to do. Now, they do play the Dolphins next week on a short week. Limited rest for Derrick Henry, and still uncertainty at quarterback, as that's not ideal. But the schedule lightens up after that. This defense starts clicking again, and they can prove the stack wins and get Lamar back healthy down the stretch. They'll be right in the playoff picture. And let's not forget, this team is used to the grind. The Ravens are built for December football. They don't need style points. They just need wins. And the truth is, their schedule gets easy. Playing the Dolphins and teams like that, it's cakewalk. So yeah, it is fact. The Ravens can make a playoff push. They're not flashy right now. They're not perfect, but when the weather turns cold and the lights get bright, this team can grind without anybody in the AFC. Now, they can make a playoff push, but will they make the playoffs? No, they won't.